So as you can see, my office is basically back to where it was before, whereas the last video, this area was completely downstairs because I didn't want any of those tornadic lightning storms or Hurricane Florence or whatever to come in, and I don't know how strong that is, so I didn't want to take any chances. But I'm not too sure I want to keep this setup like this. Don't get me wrong, I like it how it is, but there are a few things that I may want to change, just to change things up, because I'm never satisfied. I just kind of like to change things up a little bit. So basically, how normally the camera is right here and you have that directly in the background, I'm thinking of taking this desk right here to where the green thing is and moving the green thing and everything on top of it right along this wall, not this wall, but this wall right here. So it's the green thing will be right where I'm pointing. This desk will be where the green thing is, and butted up against this desk will be that desk right there in the corner, my main setup. But I think I'm going to set up my main setup onto this desk, and I'm going to keep that standing desk as just a blank desk for me to put stuff on, and maybe, I don't know. I just really liked the setup for my monitor and everything on this desk. The height of it was perfect, and I never used the standing desk. In fact, I don't even have the standing desk electronics plugged in, so it's basically locked at the current position it sits. That's why I think I'm going to move this setup over to that desk so I can actually plug that back in and not have to worry about all of these wires back here getting yanked up if I ever want to make this standing again. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe that made sense. And all of that would make this kind of the normal camera angle from here on out, because my setup would be directly behind me, and that's just kind of how I like to run things. So for this Q&A video, we're going to keep the camera angle just like this, see how we like it. Cool? For those of you who don't know, I gathered these questions for my YouTube post thanking everybody for hitting 25,000 subscribers, and I asked you guys to ask questions for this particular video. So if you didn't see that, next time I'm actually going to be hosting it over on Twitter. So for those of you who follow me on Twitter, your questions are going to be answered first and foremost in this Q&A. So be sure to follow me on Twitter. Links are down in the description to all my social medias. But let's get started. Our first question is the most popular question on that post, and that is, how much should you know to get an entry-level job as a software engineer? So basically, what you need to know to get an entry-level job as a software engineer is to understand what kind of software engineer you want to be. General speaking, software engineer will program in Java, C++, or language similar to that. Or maybe you want to be a full stack developer, an iOS developer, whatever. Determine that first, and that is your first step to actually becoming that type of software engineer. The second thing you should know is actually how to work with the tools, languages, frameworks that they're using. So if you want to be a software engineer, Java engineer, then maybe you're doing Java development using the Spring framework. You need to prove to this potential employer that you can actually fulfill the tasks that they need at a level equal to or better than others who are applying for the same job. Generally speaking, if you're coming out of college with a computer science degree, you have these skills under your belt, at least enough to get an interview at an entry-level software engineer position. And then third, you need to make sure you know what they're going to ask you at this interview process. You want to make sure that you ace the interview process, because if you have the skills, the only thing keeping you from getting the job is that entire interview. You want to make sure that you know your stuff and that you're compatible with their team, meaning you're personable, you're friendly, you're not going to get on anyone's case, and you're not going to bring in negative energy into the company. That's what people look for when they're trying to hire somebody on. Ahmed says, congrats, man. Thank you, sir. Where do you see yourself in your career with your CS degree? Do you always want to code, or is there something else you want to become within the tech field? Oh, also, which do you prefer, front end or back end? All right, so let's jump back to the first question, and that is essentially, where do you see yourself in the future within the tech field? For me, I would like to progress in my current position as a software engineer. My programming skills aren't as high as I would like them to be. So I want to make sure I continue to fulfill all requirements that are asked of me within this current position, so I get better and better and better, and then potentially move up to a senior role as the company I'm currently working for grows and people come in under me, and they are essentially taking the jobs that I'm doing, and I'm able to take a more senior level role. And then from there, I would really like to see myself go into something along the lines of a solutions architect or a project manager. And although different, I definitely see myself fitting either role. In a solutions architect, I think that would challenge me more, but as a project manager, I think that would allow me to be more busy based on my own self-awareness of my skills and how I would perform in either role based on my understanding of those two roles. I also think both of those roles will allow me to take those skills into what I would like to grow as my own business. Because if you're running your own business, you need to know how to operate and how to determine who does what and just kind of, well, manage people. And in terms of web development, what I like better, front end or back end? Front end for sure. It allows me to be more creative, whereas back end, I've never really enjoyed it that much. Do you have any hobbies? Maybe surfing? Yes and yes. I do enjoy surfing. That is one of my main hobbies when we actually get waves over here on the East Coast. So yes, definitely surfing, snowboarding, fishing, hunting, playing video games, and making these videos. Although, YouTube channel has really grown out of the hobby phase and gotten more into the business aspect of things, which I'm actually really enjoying. What is your favorite vacation spot? I would have to say Costa Rica, Plaguenas to be exact. I've been there on 2 separate occasions, and that was for a surf trip because they have good waves, they have good weather, the water is nice and warm, there are a few different breaks along the coast, at least where I went. It was a lot of fun. When it comes to vacation, I don't like to just sit there, hang out on the beach, drinking, although I do like to do that a little bit. I don't want my whole entire trip to just be that. I like to be doing, especially one of those 4 hobbies that I talked about. I like to go on a surf trip, or a fishing trip, or a hunting trip, or a snowboarding trip. So when it comes to vacationing, I'm going to do at least one of those 4 things. How much computer science do I need to know to get my first CS internship in college? Well, luckily for you, a lot of those computer science internship listings actually say we want you to be at least a sophomore in college, or we don't want you to be a senior because sometimes a co-op wants you to come back, every other semester. So they won't allow seniors to apply for that position. They want you to be maybe even a freshman or a sophomore or a junior. So look in the actual listing for what that requirement is, if it's listed, and that'll give you a good knowledge base on what your experience should be like. These jobs that are offering these internships, understand you're not going to be coming in and being a programming whiz, whether or not you are, because you're essentially just going to be a freshman or sophomore in college. A lot of these jobs, depending on if it's specific or not, if it's just computer science, you can expect a lot of different things, but if it's software engineering, or if it's a systems analyst position, or if it's a data scientist position, then you can kind of expect what to do, but you will also be doing a lot of, I'll say, typical intern work. I'm not necessarily talking about going and fetching coffee for the whole entire office. I'm talking about heavily utilizing Microsoft Office, that's Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You'll be creating those PowerPoints for higher ups to present to even higher ups. So that's a lot of the work that I actually did at various different internships, so that's to be expected. A lot of these internships will also give you kind of like a 1 semester trial run, especially if it's labeled as a co-op, and that trial run will kind of see if you work out, if you fit in, and you'll be doing a lot of that grunt work. But then when they bring you back the next semester, where you do a semester of work, a semester of school, another semester of work, that's the internship co-op, you will actually have a particular project that you work on at that company all semester long. So that was really just a long-winded way of saying you don't need much computer science know-how. As long as you're a student at a college majoring in computer science, you'll be likely to be considered for that particular internship. What programming languages do you use at work, and which one is your favorite, and do you recommend learning that language? I use Java mostly at work. Those are my incredibly busy days. That's why I can't really document any of that type of work on the channel. So I would definitely say yes, I highly recommend using Java. That would be my favorite because that is probably what I'm best at. But I have been using a lot of different web development stacks depending on what the client needs, because a lot of the work that I'll be doing isn't necessarily building things from scratch. It is taking an existing product and making sure it works properly for them, for the client. So whatever they have that exists, that's what I need to adapt to, that's what I need to learn, and that's what I need to develop and engineer into something that actually works for them. So there are a lot of random languages and tools, frameworks, technologies that come into my wheelhouse, but Java is definitely my most used on this current job I have. And that is it for the Q&A. Let me know what you guys think about this office setup idea that I had at the beginning of the video. Do you think I should have it like in the corner? I don't know. I think I want to test it out and then just see how it goes. If everybody hates it, then maybe I'll change it back. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But if you've made it this far in this video, I'm assuming you like what you heard. So be sure to subscribe because I'll be talking a lot more in future videos about topics similar to what we discussed in this video. And don't forget to drop a like because, you know, I'll take all the help I can get when it comes to catering to the YouTube algorithm. And that is comments and likes. I like those. Engagement on a YouTube video and watch time are all that matters. So until next time, guys, have a good one. Peace.